Hi, and welcome back to That's Entertainment, the weekly entertainment show where we look at all the interesting news from last week, this week. Kicking off, our webinar with Vula went extremely well. We had a lot of participants tuning in on the day, nearly 200, which was great. Some great questions were asked from the audience, as well as the panel responded with some very keen insights into the buying side of the industry, or the TV industry, should I say. The presentation plus the video is now available on our site. You can download these assets by just entering your email. As I said, lots of interesting ideas were shared, and there's a good 20-minute presentation right at the beginning of the webinar, which is the standard groovy format. Kicking off with some entertainment news. Last week was an extraordinary time for AMC cinemas in the US. 80% of its shareholders are now made up of Reddit and Robinhood individuals, as the exhibitor unveiled something new for them. According to Deadline, retail investing met marketing genius Wednesday as AMC Entertainment devoted a new area of its website to individual investors, stoking their love, doubling the stock price, and, the company hopes, inflating membership of its AMC Stubs loyalty program. CEO Adam Aram is treating the investors to a free popcorn if they join AMC Stubs, which they can now do through a dedicated window on the site that reads "Welcome AMC stockholders." The power these shareholders have in helping to dictate the short-term value of AMC stock became very apparent when investment group Mudrick Capital paid $230 million for 8.5 million shares on Tuesday. As reported by Screen Daily, hours after AMC Entertainment Holdings announced a sale of $230 million in stock to Mudrick Capital, the New York-based investment group sold the stock, claiming it was overvalued. The company said the deal would help it with the acquisitions, opportunities, and upgrades, and CEO Adam Aram said on Twitter that the company was eyeing ArcLight Cinemas and Pacific Cinemas, which announced they were closing in April due to hardship brought on by the pandemic. AMC were obviously taking note of Mudrick Capital's decision, according to The Hollywood Reporter. AMC Theatres subsequently filed to potentially sell 11.5 million shares, but in its SEC filing, the cinema giant told investors, "We caution you against investing in our Class A common stock unless you're prepared to incur the risk of losing all or a substantial portion of your investment." However, the warning didn't dissuade those eager online traders. According to Deadline, AMC raised $587 million from the sale of those 11 million shares on Thursday. The average price per share was $50, and after a trading day that saw the price range from $37 to $68 per share, closing at $51. There was good news for another US cinema chain last week as Alamo Drafthouse emerged from bankruptcy, according to Variety. Along with the news of the end of the Chapter 11 process, the company announced plans to open 5 new theaters with locations in Manhattan, Staten Island, St. Louis, and 2 in Washington. Alamo Drafthouse had to close down a few underperforming venues as part of their bankruptcy filing, and currently has nearly 40 locations in total. Notably, the company reopened its Los Angeles location this weekend, though it still had to cap attendance to comply with safety concerns. Interestingly, though, the venue sold out every showtime for all films throughout the entire holiday weekend, which goes back to show the Alamo brand is still a very strong brand, so we're very relieved to see that they came out of this filing, and hopefully a stronger organization as a result of the Chapter 11 proceedings. In other news, plans for this year's Cannes Film Festival has been unveiled last week, and while 2021 will see many post-COVID changes, one thing remains the same. There will once again be no Netflix titles showing in the competition. The reason? Well, the world's largest streamer will not commit to giving titles a theatrical release in France prior to those films when debuting on the streaming platform. Thierry Frémaux told Variety just how important cinema still is to the festival organizers. A film is still a work of art that must be discovered on a big screen, and we're staying true to this mantra for the films in competition. It seems Cannes would allow Netflix titles to screen out of competition, but the streamer is apparently unwilling to consider that option, according to Frémaux. "I'm asking them again and again to return out of competition or sell the French rights to a local distributor. They don't accept our rules, and I respect that, but no one can say Cannes doesn't want Netflix. Cannes wants Netflix." Frémaux did acknowledge that this is the current theatrical window in France that is to blame. At present, Netflix would have to wait 36 months before streaming any movie they chose to release in French cinemas. Yes, of course, you're right to find it abnormal. We must modernize our windowing system. That said, Netflix would be welcomed back as heroes on the croisette if they came out of the competition with a film. With a lavish red carpet gala premiere at 7 p.m., it would be formidable. Netflix and its fellow streamers did, however, receive some good news last week with the publication of a new research from the UTAIQ, the Data and Analytics Division of the prominent Hollywood agency. The new study, Forever Changed, COVID-19's lasting impact on the entertainment industry, revealed 84% of the public spent more time on entertainment during the pandemic than in the previous year. 67% intend to spend more time consuming entertainment in the post-COVID-19 world. 70% used multiple streaming platforms during the pandemic and intend to continue doing so, and 25% plan to consume more genres. As Joe Klesler, global head of UTAIQ, said, entertainment and the media proved a reliable escape from our stay-at-home lives. The issue now is whether this gives way to a more enduring shift in behavior and expectations. What consumers are telling us is that now they have formed many new habits they won't let go of. And to close the show, here's a round of some of the most interesting production deals announced by streamers recently. Netflix is working on a movie adaptation of the non-fictional book Atomic Bazaar, which saw former Vanity Fair journalist William Langewish interview the technicians, smugglers, spies, and scientists involved in the illicit nuclear weapons business. Netflix also won the bidding war for We Used to Live Here, the sinister tale of the family father who knocks on a stranger's door and claims the house was his childhood home. Adapted from the successful novella on Reddit, the film will star Blake Lively. Amazon have announced plans for their first original German movie, One Night Off. It's a comedy about a 24-year-old music fan who must look after his baby overnight for the first time. Amazon has signed a deal with Moonbug Entertainment, producer and distributor of digital kids programming. The first production for Amazon Kids Plus will be Arpo Robot Babysitter, which will see the show, which originated in Korea, move from YouTube. Apple, who already have the rights to various classics like Charlie Brown's TV shows, have picked up Who Are You, Charlie Brown, a documentary about Charles M. Schultz and his famous creations. And Peacock have acquired Civil War. The documentary looks at how different Americans tell the story of the Civil War and will be given a limited theatrical release prior to launching on Peacock in September. That's all for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, we share this show both to LinkedIn and to YouTube. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe in the comments section below. And talk to you next week. Goodbye.